The next thing to do is get them improvising on the black keys. Kids love doing this. And what I've given you in the lesson plans is a number of improvisation accompaniments. So let's take the first one. First thing I get them to do is find the black keys and the black key sets. Now, if you've got a really young beginner, I've given you a link to a great game by Nicola Canton of Colourful Keys. She's got an off-the-bench activity for finding and organising all the sets of black keys you can do on the floor. Great little game, just takes a minute or two, and then they can come to the piano and go, oh yeah, 2 black keys, groups of 3 black keys. So we want them to be able to find all of them. So I'll get them to using one hand, fingers 2 and 3, just playing the sets of 2 black keys. Or they could do it with their left hand. They could do it going downwards, they could do it going upwards, whatever it is. And the same with the sets of 3 black notes. Now, for lesson 1, we would love to have them play with a beautiful rounded hand shape, nice floating wrist and all this kind of stuff, right? But from my perspective, given the limited time you've got, I just want them to get in there and start making music. So we're going to refine their technique over the next few weeks. So don't worry too much if the way that they're playing these black key groups isn't perfect yet. It's okay. So I've given you 3 different accompaniments. The first one I suggest using just 2 black notes. So you can say to your student, use any of the 2 black note groups above middle C, and you can play along. It's a 12-bar blues, goes like this. Now, I've written it in a very simple way. Feel free to embellish and add some chords, offbeat, whatever you want to do, put on a backing track to play along with, whatever it is. That is a great fun way to start, and the student just... they can do whatever they want. This, of course, is a great opportunity for you to listen and hear what they're like. Are they feeling the rhythm? Are they getting the sense of style of the accompaniment that you're playing? All of them are really different. So this is an opportunity to work out whether they're listening and what their skills are like. And that's why I love doing improvisation from the beginning. And you can really do this for 5 or 10 minutes of the lesson because the students are going to love it. All right, the next improvisation I've given you is for the students to use with any of the 3 black note sets. And it goes like this, in 6/8. I tend to play them through, I say to the student, I'm going to play it through once first, have a listen to the feeling and the style and the speed first, and then give it a shot, rather than get them to start straight away. So that gets them listening, and then I say, okay, you ready? Let's give it a shot. And they'll hopefully take on a more connected or a more smooth and flowing approach to this one versus the jazzy one to start with. Improv number 3 is with any black note. So I tend to like starting with the 2 and then the 3 and then to any black note. And this one's just kind of a dreamier one, a little bit more chordal. Here's how it sounds. And you can repeat this any number of times. And there. All of these improvs are just designed for you to explore, experiment with, you can add a few other chords. They're all in G flat major or E flat minor. You can add some extra chords if you want. You can play them for a long time, a short time, whatever you want to do. It's totally up to you. All right, they're all there for you. So that's the next activity that I tend to do, that improvising on the black keys. Get students listening, gives you an opportunity to hear what they're thinking and sounding like and where the music's at. Okay, so the last activity for this first lesson is the animal improvisation story. Now, all kids get animals, which is great. And we've got a full range of the piano here to explore. So I start asking them questions, or we say, okay, the activity that you're going to do this week at home is to create a story about animals using any of the notes of the piano. And so we would talk perhaps about, well, what animal might be kind of low on the piano, and you could demonstrate what, if that was the steps of an animal, what animal would it be? I might say it's a dinosaur or an elephant or something like that. Great. And what if we did some twinkly stuff up here? What animal might that be? Well, it could be, I don't know, ants or something like that. What about in the middle? Well, that could be, I don't know, a duck or a meerkat. I don't know. Kids will come up with all sorts of weird and crazy ideas about animals, right? So start exploring those sounds with them, and get them to see if they can, without shuffling their bottom across the bench too much, if they can play something down low. Can they do it on 2 notes and keep a steady beat? Could they do a little twinkly thing? Maybe if they can reach the pedal comfortably, they could press the pedal and do some pedally stuff. What about this sound? Is that an animal, or is that a shooting star, or who knows? This is what it's all about for me, exploring the sounds of the piano. So what I asked them to do then is choose just 2 animals to make a story. And the story I've given you an example of is one that I like using with my students, is the elephant and the ant. What's going to happen? So let's come up with a story. So the elephant's walking along, and so, or maybe you can pick 2 notes. And the ants, he sees the ants running around, and then the ants head down towards him, and he starts trampling on them, or he starts dancing around them. I don't know, whatever it is. You'll be amazed at the kind of creative things that students come up with when given the opportunity to do this. I had a student come back with this story about ducks. These 3 black sets were all about ducks quacking at each other or something like that. And then I can't remember what happened. Some animal came along and shooed them away or something. Get the student to just explore and have fun. And try one in a lesson, depending on how much time you've got. And then say to them, all right, I would love for you to come up with a new animal improvisation over the course of the week. Come up with something new. So the practice notes for this week are: 1, come up with a new animal improv story. Number 2 would be to teach your parents how to sit at the piano. So grab mum or dad or brother or whoever it is and get them to sit at the piano and make sure they're sitting in the right way. They don't need one of these. I only use these in lessons, but they could, make sure they tap the different parts that Linda would be checking. And you could ask mum and dad if they're in the lesson, make sure you sit really badly or cross your leg or whatever it is, so that the student can help get your sitting position right, and it reinforces their learning about it. So they're coming up with their animal story. They could do it with any number of different animals. They could do a number of different stories. Whatever it is fine. Birds, bees are great. Ants, any of those are fantastic. And the other thing I always get them to do is keep playing along to the 3 backing tracks. So what I would recommend is that you grab your phone and, here's my phone. Grab your phone, put the voice recorder on, and record yourself playing these backing tracks over and over, a number of times. You only have to do this once for a child, save them to your computer, and then you could give them to each child that becomes a beginner. You don't have to do this each time, but have ready some backing tracks that you can share with mum or dad by email or Dropbox so that they can keep playing along at home. And one of the first things we're going to do in lesson 2 is actually have a listen to how those improvisations might have improved and how their rhythm's going and all that kind of stuff. So that's the first lesson in my No Book Beginners. It sounds really simple. I know I've not blown anyone's minds with any of this stuff. It may be things you do already, but hopefully if it's not something you've tried before, you've got some new ideas about what you can do. So next lesson, we're going to have a listen to those improvisations, and we're then going to move to the white notes. We're going to revise the sitting position. We'll hear their animal improv, and if they're really enjoying it, we could even come up with one more. We're going to work on and explore 3/4 versus 4/4, so duple and triple meter times. We're going to move to the music. I've got an activity with some echo singing and echo playing back. And we're going to start learning the words for a song and chant them in time to a beat. So that's lesson 1. I really, really hope you've enjoyed that today, and I look forward to seeing you in lesson number 2.